name is My name is Shawnee Barton, and I am a technology integration specialist also. So I work in the same office that Dwayne does. And just a quick shout out, the coaches that come to the different schools, we're not just content area coaches, we're technology coaches. So if you are a health teacher and you want to do something with a smartboard that you push into rooms and you need to do something with a smartboard, or you need to have some interactive ideas for how to incorporate technology into those lessons, we're the people for you to reach out to. So when you get that email that says, hey, your coach is coming, if you have some thoughts or some ideas or some questions, or if you just want someone to help you with ideas and questions, reach out, and any one of us would be happy to work with you.
Great, thank you, Shawnee. Okay, we are going to just discuss the norms for our session. You guys should be acquainted with these by now, but I want to go over them just in case you need a refresher. We're going to start on time as we just did, and we're going to end on time as we surely will. Be open to new ideas, value and consider different perspectives. We're going to use the technology for session-related purposes. We're going to mute your mics. If you have not already done so, please mute your mics at some point. I think we have a small enough session that we might allow. I'm perfectly okay with coming off mute to ask questions or to answer questions. We're going to use our virtual parking lot, the chat feature, to ask and answer questions appropriately. If you have not already done so, I'm not seeing everybody, I don't think, but please make sure that as Shawnee pointed out earlier, that your video is on so we can see your lovely faces. We're going to listen, we're going to participate actively, and we're going to enjoy this section, and we're going to learn something new, all right? Or learn something fun for our students. Okay, what is our goal? Our goal today is for us to learn the importance of digital citizenship and identify positive practices for internet and social media use. That is our goal. Our action plan or roadmap as we navigate through to accomplish that goal is we're going to define what digital citizenship is and what is internet safety. We're going to discuss the hows and the whats of digital citizenship in your classroom. We're going to introduce you to something that maybe introduce you to it, or maybe you might be familiar with Common Sense Media. We're going to do some checking up. We're going to allow you guys to collaborate a little bit. We're going to have you guys share out. We're going to plan something. So before the session is over, we hope that you would at least start the process of planning and using some of the resources that have been provided or will be provided through the session. And then finally, we're going to complete our survey and give you the attendance, and we're going to enjoy our Friday. All right. All right. So what I'd like you guys to do is just to take a look at this slide. I'm just to kind of take it in. As we talk about media and digital literacy and all that. So take this in for 30 seconds.
While you guys are looking at this slide, I'm going to put a link in the chat. This is to like an interactive notes document that you will need throughout the session. So you've got that link available. And Dwayne, Mr. Cos says hello.
Okay, hello. Okay, as you have taken a look at that, let's kind of talk about something here. As mentioned, our goal today is to discuss digital citizenship, internet safety, and its importance for students. As educators, it is our responsibility to make sure that our students, our children are informed and provided the appropriate tools necessary to conduct themselves as good citizens of the digital world, and also to protect themselves as necessary. So we want to make sure that as students, as educators, students are prepared educators, and as we as leaders or educators in the school systems, we are providing them with that resource that they will need to be successful in this area of their school life. All right, so we're going to talk about what is digital citizenship. We're going to define that first. It is the responsible, and I'm going to repeat the word responsible. It is the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, and the digital device to engage with society on any level. It is the ability to safely access digital technologies, as well as being an active and respectful member of society, both online and offline. This is something that our students, not just our students, but we also need to be cognizant of, that we have a responsibility as to when we use our technology. What is internet safety? It is trying to be safe on the internet. It is the act of maximizing a user's awareness of personal safety and security risks to private information and property associated with using the internet and the self-protection from computer and crime. So let's take a look at that again. I want to make sure that's kind of clear. It is the act of maximizing a user's awareness of personal safety and security risks to private information and property associated with using the internet and the self-protection from computer crime. What I'd like for you guys to do right now is to take a look at this first question, and in the chat, you're going to respond to this. What are 2 things you believe are most important to teach our students? So as you think about digital literacy, internet safety, what are 2 things you believe are most important to teach our students? So when you put that answer right in the chat. And I'm going to ask Shani to kind of share what people are saying. 2 things you believe are most important to teach our students as it regards to digital literacy and internet safety.
All right, we've got protecting your privacy. We've got responsibility, importance of the power. No sending nude pics. You got that, Jessica. Absolutely. The items are there forever, right? Important to know.
Okay, good. Thank you. And then our next question, what are 2 things you would benefit from learning more about? What are 2 things you would benefit more from learning more about as it pertains to digital literacy and internet safety?
While you guys are thinking on this, because so a lot of these are direct messages. This happened in our last session as well. Nancy, did you figure out what was the cause of them not being able to message everyone?
Unfortunately, no. And it resolved itself on its own.
It did. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So if you see that you only have the option of direct messaging either myself or Nancy or Dwayne, just go ahead and direct message me your answers to these things. But at some point, hopefully this will fix within our Zoom. That's what happened last session. So, all right. Yeah. So, and if you have the drop down, if you have the option for everyone, you can click that and choose that. But I think for some folks, that's not even showing up.
All right. So any responses there, Shani, for the second question?
It was protecting privacy is one. That was really it, because
That's fine.
the chat is causing issues today.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. I just want you guys to think about it. We can talk about it more a little bit later on, so we understand that there's some surprise, some technical issues, and it's all good. All right. Let's talk about digital citizenship and safety in your classrooms. Let's talk about the hows of it. How do we share this information? How do we provide this information? How do we teach this information? How do we make sure that our students understand how to navigate this digital world? What we're going to introduce you to here is something that's called Common Sense Media. There are 6 topics within Common Sense Media. So as you look at these, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put you guys into some small groups. So there are about 35 of us, 33 of us here. I'm going to ask that I'm going to assign each group a component. So this is what is called Common Sense Media. There are 6 topics, there are 6 themes. And we're going to assign one theme per group, one topic per group. And you're going to discuss in your group what you think this topic or this theme is all about. What do you think we're going to be talking about in your prospective topic? So for example, if you're in group 1, you're going to take care of media balance and well-being. What do you think this theme will be discussing, or can you unpack that component? If you're in 2, you're going to be talking about privacy and security. If you land in group 3, you're going to be talking about digital footprint and identity. If you're in 4, your task will be to unpack what you think this theme, relationship and communication, has to do with digital literacy. In group 5, you are cyberbullying. Well, you're not cyberbullying. In group 5, you're going to be discussing what you think cyberbullying or digital drama and hate speech has to do, or what it will be talking about in this component. And then if you're in 6, you're going to be discussing what you believe news media and literacy has to do with digital literacy. What do you think this is going to be about? So you're going to unpack these themes, these topics. What do you think is going to be discussed in these topics? While you're in your groups, I would like for you to make sure you're assigned a group leader who will be presenting the information that the group has discussed. I'm going to allow you to be in your groups for 10 minutes. Your chorus ups, we can say 5 minutes. I'm being corrected, 5 minutes. So if you're one, you know what your component is, 1 through 6, you know what you're doing with. Make sure you remember your group number, all right? And make sure you know your topic, and make sure you assign your presenter. And I'll see you back in 5 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going to send you guys all to your breakout rooms. Go ahead and once I do this, go ahead and click the join button so that you'll move on out to that room. Sean, stay back, Sean Murphy, and we can see if we can help you out.
So we're back at 1:17.
Okay, and then Sean, if you want to come off of mute. So you're saying in the Zoom session, you can only see the people, but you can't see anything else?
Yeah, I only can see like the faces up the top of the bar. I don't see the other screen.
Do you know the 3-finger swipe on your Mac? I'm wondering if it's open in another window. So if you use 3 fingers on your touchpad and you swipe either left or right, it'll change your screen. See if maybe we're hanging out on a different, or Dwayne's screen is hanging. Is it there?
Yeah, I see it now.
All right, perfect.
3-finger swipe, man.
Yeah, I didn't never know about this swipe left, right.
New game,
Yeah.
new game changer.
Yeah,
I love it. It is one of my favorite Mac tools ever.
I never knew that. Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah.
So which group I'm in? I think it was like
You should just have a prompt there to click join, and you'll go ahead and join. Just click that and it'll take you into your room.
We're going to, I think everyone is back. So I think we're going to get started with unpacking what you guys discussed. So we are going to reach out to group number 1. So the group number 1, your task was media balance and well-being. So the person who was assigned the role of sharing out your discussion, please come off mute and tell us what you came up with, what you think is going to be in this bin or this topic.
We didn't have a tremendous amount of discussion. However, I'll just tell you what the balance I have in my life and with my children, and we try to find a balance like anything else. We have a certain amount of times, we have shut off times, and on the weekends, especially on Sunday, we try not to do much on the digital world. We try to just to be free of it, other than the TV and everything, but we're talking about cell phones and laptops.
Gotcha. Good.
You try to schedule some kind of, we just try to be mindful of not just being on our phone all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And a good entry for that is even just starting with, we're not going to be on our phone at meals, right? And then we can grow up from there.
Correct. That was actually the first rule we implemented in the house was, at the table, no phones.
Yeah.
They are addictive. Good point. Okay. And then group number 2, your task was to unpack what's in the topic of privacy and security. What do you think that's going to be about?
All right, so we basically just said, don't use your school district issued Chromebooks and stuff like that for personal stuff. And then what I had sent in the direct message, obviously no inappropriate pictures or anything like that sent.
Thank you. And then group 3, your task was digital footprint and identity. What's going to be in this topic, you think? Group number 3. Okay.
I'll help out group number 3. With if we're talking about sending those videos, we want to make sure we don't do that, right? Because nothing ever goes away. And we do have a digital footprint, and it's so important for kids to realize. How many times have we heard about athletes that lose scholarships because of something they did?
Yeah, we talked about kids who like stuff when they were freshmen in high school, did stuff on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and then it shows up, and then scholarships get taken. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Absolutely. Business executives that said something, 20 years ago, and now it's
yeah.
coming back to haunt them. Yeah. Yep. It's important for kids to realize. Adults to realize.
Yes, that is kids, adults, yeah. It stays with you. And group number 4, this is you, relationships and communication.
We talked about using appropriate language, understanding context of what's being said, not sending something you will regret later, and practicing your grammar, because a lot of kids and even adults are texting a lot, and grammar can be practiced then.
Good. Okay, good.
Absolutely. And how hard is it to understand tone in a text message, right? Like, you know, it's so easy to misinterpret someone's intent.
Even with those emojis, it's not, you know, it's not always clear, you know, what your tone is. You're right. And then cyberbullying, digital drama, and hate speech. This is group 5.
So at group number 5, we talked about, what defining what exactly cyberbullying is. We talked about ways that we be respectful with our thoughts and opinions. What resources we have as teachers and educators. How should we be reporting cyberbullying? How should we tell our kids how to report it? Should they be reporting it to school police, principal, maybe guidance counselor, or dean? So those kind of things.
Yeah, that is
Nice.
that's a pretty good one, right? That's something that that kind of hit home for me a while ago, because my daughter came and said that someone was on the bus and they were showing or talking about somebody, and what do? Are you supposed to tell the teacher, but you have to, especially in these times, right? You have to be vigilant and careful and do your part. Good. Okay, guys. So
Wait, Dwayne, you forgot group 6.
group 6, I apologize, group 6, which is news and media literacy. Thank you, Shawnee.
Skip
Group
me
6
on
may
to-
not be thinking anything me.
No, we talked a little bit about, like, I was double checking. I couldn't remember the topic, but then when I looked back into the note catcher that you sent us, it was on there. We're talking about not automatically assuming that because somebody's on the news or because somebody's an influencer or on YouTube that they're telling something that's actually true. Teach the kids how to go out and find their own resources and find out the information for themselves. Ask questions. Don't just, like, I teach my own 12-year-old the same thing. I'm like, don't just assume because somebody said something. I teach my wife also. She teaches kindergarten. If she reads it on Facebook, it must be true. So she tells me, and I'm like, that's not true. And, I go and research it and find the answers before I go telling people that that's something that's true. And I explain that to the kids too. I'm like, look, just don't assume because somebody got on TV and they said the sky turned purple today that it's really true that the sky is purple. Go outside and look up, like, find out for yourself.
Alice, do you mean like when they said the cheering from the Phillies game the other night registered on the Richter scale for seismic?
Oh, yeah. Or I saw a recent one that said that schools were installing kitty litter boxes for people who identify as furries. And I immediately looked it up and it was an urban myth, but funny stuff. You got to find out for yourself.
Yes, the kids definitely have to learn how to be critical consumers of information, right? So there was a great point that came up in the chat, and because of the way the chat's working, you guys didn't see this, but AirDrop, right? If the people that have Apple phones, and the reason I asked for a grade level is if it's a K-8 school, that's something the digital literacy teacher can that's a lesson that a digital literacy teacher maybe could do with the kids, is to encourage them to know how to turn off AirDrop when they're at school so that people can't be sending them things that they don't want. But in high school, maybe that would come, could be something that happens during their health classes when you guys do this unit as far as turning off AirDrop, so that they see where that setting is and how they can have that off when they're at school so people can't send them stuff they don't want.
Okay. As funny as the last person was speaking about the news information, and I know we're in a political times, I can't help but think about, even for adults, we got to be, mindful of the source, right? Okay, so I'm just going to flash this through. These are some other ideas that were discussed. If you look in the green in the bottom right, you'll see some ideas that were discussed. So I'm just going to flash these through for you to kind of look at. So I won't read this all to you, just gonna glance at it. So if see how close you were to some other ideas or how similar your thoughts were. So that was for media and balance and well-being. It's for private security. So if you look on the bottom right, So this one is, become how to protect their personal information. This is for digital footprint and identity. And we spoke about that whole idea of reputation, how your reputation is, you're forming your reputation as you hit send, or you post, right? And it sticks with you. This is for relationships and communication. Avoiding risky online talk. This is for cyberbullying. This is what's going to be unpacked in this topic. And this, I think, is a very big one. It's happening too frequently, I think, especially with our kids. We're not being careful about how we communicate about other people, and it spreads. This is news and media. All right, so you have gotten a sense, you got a chance to kind of talk with each other. We have shared our ideas. We're going to see how well you have retained some of this information with a little check for understanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of scenarios, and then you in the chat, you're going to put A, B, C, D, E, and or F. So in some cases, you might say, you know what, Shawnee, you know what, Dwayne, I think it applies to more than one. So if you think it applies to more than one, then you can say number one belongs to A, B, C, or whatever you think it belongs to, right? If it just belongs to one, you choose that one. So I'm going to read a scenario first for number one, and then you're going to put your answer in for number one, all right? Here we go. All right, number one says, this is your scenario. You notice that after being on the computer for a long time at home, your neck is a bit stiff and your wrist, man, it hurts. So which one of those things do you think, which one of these categories would that fall under? Put that in the chat.
All right, so I'm seeing a lot of A's for this one. Thank you guys for working with the problems with the chat today.
Yep.
Lots of A's.
Lots of A's, very good. I think I agree with that one. I'm not even going to look at the answer key. I'm going to just try and figure this out with you, okay? We're going to do this together. All right, number two, here's number two. Shawnee, could you read number two for us, please?
Sure.
Absolutely.
A friend of yours has set themselves up on a website, even though they aren't old enough, and they are trying to persuade you to do the same.
A, B, C, D, E, or F. What do you think?
All right, I got a B and a C and some C's, an E.
But definitely B.
C. Yep, C's and B's mostly.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay, let's keep it moving. Good job. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to this one. You are sent lots of texts that say mean, hurtful things. There are hurtful comments such as, oh, here we go, ugly, rubbish clothes. Shawnee said it should be trash clothes. Stupid, no one likes you. Where do you think that falls under?
All right, got lots of E's.
Cyberbullying. Yep.
Lots of E's.
Absolutely, yes. I could argue D though, right? In some sense, maybe.
Maybe.
But definitely E, absolutely. And number four, Shawnee, that's you.
Someone has set up a fake account online and is pretending to be you, and they are telling lies.
This would never happen.
I got B's, C's, E's.
Private security.
B, C, and E. That seems to be the winners.
All right. And let's go to this one. Number 5 says, you have been talking to a friend, and talking is in quotation marks, by the way, and so is friend. You've been talking to a friend on web chat, and they ask you to go on webcam. After a while, they ask you to do things that you don't feel very comfortable doing. What do you think?
All right, got some B's and C's, D and E, B, D,
Okay.
yep,
Some of these
B, C, D, and E. Yep.
Some of these are, got to think it through a little bit, and you're right. Some of them might fall into various groups, but they
Right.
do fall into at least one group, right? Number 6, someone you like and want to impress. Oops, I'm sorry, Shawnee. This is you. I apologize. I took your spot. Go ahead, Shawnee.
I was going to let you.
do
Someone
it.
you like and want to impress tells you, "You beautiful. Take a picture for me and send it." And they want you to take a naked picture.
Ooh.
All right, we've got D's, C's, B's, D's, C's, B, and D. There you go. Got an E in there, B, C, and D, and E.
Now,
Definitely not A. Definitely not A.
I like the fact, I was going to say I like these scenarios. I don't like the scenarios. I just like the fact that these scenarios are very practical. These things do happen, right? And they happen to our children, and sometimes happens, beyond childhood. But they do fall into one of these categories, and there are areas and there are opportunities for discussion and for teaching. All right, so what I'd like for you guys to do right now, and Shawnee has already put this in the chat, the link for this is in the chat, is I would like for you to scroll down to page 23 on that link that was provided to you. And we are going to allow you the opportunity to do a couple of things. One, if you look at the number 1 on the very top left, where it says teach a lesson, create a free account using your SDP email, you're going to be able to go to www.commonsense.org education. You're going to use your SDP email, and you're going to be able to access some resources, some sample lessons, some ideas. And if you look below, you'll see that you also have links. So once you've signed up for those with that website, that free account with your SDP email, there are some links below that will give you some sample lessons. What I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and follow these steps, sign up for free, and then you're going to go ahead and click on the corresponding grade band, and you are going to start the process of planning out the lesson that you think you're interested in. You're going to put it on the right-hand side, that right-hand column. So it's divided into 2 columns. On the right-hand side column, it says My Teaching Plan. You're going to pick a corresponding grade band. You're going to come up with a lesson that you think is your teaching plan, add the lesson you're interested in teaching, and then add any notes on it as it connects to your role. All right, so one more time. On that link that was provided to you, Shawnee put it in the chat for you earlier. You're going to scroll on the page to slide 23. You're going to be able to sign up for free using your SDP email, access the appropriate grade band by clicking on the link. So if you're K through 12, if you are Digital Passport 3 to 5, you click on the appropriate link, and then you start the process of mapping out what you are interested in teaching, what seems interesting to you, and then add some specific notes as it relates to that particular lesson. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to give you 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop talking so you won't hear my voice for a while. I'm going to stop talking and allow you guys to process and plan. 10 minutes, Shawnee? All right, so I'm going to interject. At 1:45, you'll hear me say time's up. How's that? Okay, we are going to ask you guys to join us back again. And we are going to jump ahead. I want you guys to get a sense as to how you can start thinking about preparing lesson ideas, activities for your students are centered around this whole idea of citizenship and digital and internet safety. And hopefully this gets you started. With that, I'm going to also point out that there are some additional internet safety resources that you will have at your disposal. So in that link, for example, that Shani did drop in the chat for you, if you scroll down to 25, you will see that there are quite a few additional resources that you will have access to within your school district drive that has been created for you. So you don't have to think from scratch or come up with your own ideas. There are some things that you can actually utilize that has been formulated for you to use with your students. So let's say, for example, I look at, if you click a link on 3, and I am going to click on 3 and I open that up, you'll see that in my drive, I have access to quite a few resources, including things that are on PDFs. I have some videos here. I have things on slides. So if I'm teaching grade 3, I have quite a few things that I can actually start to utilize with my students. I don't have to think from scratch. So one, I could go ahead and as you just did, sign up for that on that free resource, but you also have resources available to you through your drive. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. All right, so you can actually click ahead and get a sense as to what that looks like. I'm also going to explain to you that you can also sign up or sign in through SchoolNet, going through your Hollywood Squares, and you'll also see that you have additional resources there as well. So if you, and you should be familiar with this, but if you're not, that's okay. I will walk you through it again. If you log in through your STP portal and you sign in with your school district information, and then you access SchoolNet, when you do that, it will take you here where you can access a digital literacy curriculum K through 8. So regardless of wherever you stand, if you want to use the resources from the very first link when you sign up with that free account or that free service using your SDP account, you can use that. You can go ahead and you can click on the link that Shani gave you based on your particular grade band, and you get your resources there, and that they're already in your drive. You can go through your SDP account here and go to SchoolNet and access the digital literacy curriculum for K through 8. So you have quite a few options. So you are not feeling that you have to create things from scratch. The point is that you want to find resources that, because this is such an important aspect of learning. We are, focused on a lot on technology. We want to make sure that our students know how to properly use technology, how they can be safe, and that they are being responsible in the way that they use it. So you have quite a few resources at your disposal. Any questions on that so far? And and it's fine to come off mute, or you can put those questions in the chat. How are we doing, Shani?
Doing good. Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you'll go ahead and go to this slide. So this is our digital media literacy, our digital media curriculum. And so, depending on what your purposes are, probably you're going to live mostly in that computing and society column. That's where you're going to see things like for privacy and security and how we should interact with one another. So if you're looking for lesson ideas, that would probably be the column that I would spend the most time in. Those other ones, are going to be more for like a digital literacy teacher, as far as like computer science fundamentals and coding. The digital media literacy may also have some things in there that are helpful, but definitely that computing and society group there. And those are also separated by grade band, and they have links in there, access to different resources, standards alignments, if you need to put standards into a lesson plan or something like that, that also exists in there. Do you want to click on one of those, Dwayne?
Can I come out of that? Because I can't click here. So
Oh, you can't click there. I'm sorry. Duh.
That's fine.
You'd have to, you have to, that's okay. I apologize. I asked you to do something that's not.
That's okay. Trying to make things difficult for me. It's okay. But you guys have the links to these, so you can certainly go ahead and click on and mess with that for a minute.
And the previous resource that Dwayne shared with you, those are actually in the slide deck. So that was the link that I put into the chat. So if you haven't clicked on that yet, go ahead and click on that, because that's where, so the difference is, like, the first thing we did was we took you to Common Sense Media. We took you to their website and had you look at their webpage so you could see everything that was there. This is where they've pulled the resources off of that and they put them into folders. So that's what that's what that link, the reason why it's helpful for you to have the slide deck is so that you have those links to that. And if you're not familiar, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bookmark these resources. So once you click the link and open them, click that little star in your address bar, and that'll let you bookmark them so that you can access these things later when it comes time, and when it hits in your curriculum, you can refer back to the things that we did today.
All right, thank you very much, Shawnee. Any questions at all before we kind of come towards, well, we're wrapping up at the end now, but any questions that you have, any lingering thoughts that before we kind of give you the final parts of this presentation? So you know how to access SchoolNet, kind of going back again, digital literacy, K-8, and then you'll be able to kind of go in here by grade band. And as Shawnee pointed out, the different components of that. All right, if you think of additional things that you want to find out more about, and maybe we provided you some things, but you want more tools, more resources, these links will take you to additional information. So please make sure you utilize this as well. You have access to this in the deck. And the last thing I'm going to point out to you is this QR code for our survey. I'm hoping that we have been of use to you, that this has been beneficial to you, to get you guys thinking about how to introduce or to continue to reinforce the importance of digital literacy and internet safety with your students, or even for yourselves. So I'm hoping that this gives you some ideas. You have some resources that you can now go ahead and navigate and see if they can be useful to you. And you can start the process of planning as how you want to do that or present it to your students. So here you have a QR code. If you need help navigating how to do that, just simply pick up your phones, your iPhone, I think. Only for iPhone, Shawnee, for this one, just bring the iPhone to the QR code with your camera app open, and it should open up a tab for you guys to go ahead and complete the survey. If you like, you can also type in the web address here, and it will take you to the site where you can actually complete the survey there as well. So you have accessed a couple of different ways.
Yep. And I believe if you have an Android phone, it'll do a drop down for you. So if you just aim your camera at it, you have a drop down and it goes. Yep. Yeah, perfect.
And the attendance will be shared with you. If it has not already been shared with you, it will be shared with you shortly. I know we have 3 minutes left before we are officially over here. I want to thank you guys for allowing us to serve you in this capacity, and hopefully this has been beneficial. Just kind of get the thought juices flowing, and that you guys have an idea plan now for what you want to do as it pertains to this aspect of students' need. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Wedderburn. I was happy to see a familiar face.
Hey, no worries, sir.